Hello, innovators. I'm Todd Wyant, and welcome to the Bridging the Gap podcast presented by Applied Software Great Tech Group. You're invited to join our conversation to model the future of construction innovation and the digital transformation adventure of this great industry. My guest today is Matt Gates. He is president of Erickson-Hall Construction and joined the company in 2004, then quickly rose through the ranks due to his expertise in managing complex projects and solving challenges before they arise. A civil engineering graduate from San Diego State University, Matt holds both CCM and LEED accreditation. As president since 2019, he oversees company growth, employee development, and the implementation of cutting-edge technology to ensure Erickson-Hall remains an industry leader. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So I always like to get people's origin story out the gate. How'd you get into the world of construction?
I had a high school buddy that had moved into construction, was laboring for a local contractor, and they had moved him into the apprentice program. So they needed a new laborer, and I was silly enough to raise my hand.
Well, there you go.
And
I like it.
We went from there. And I poured a lot of concrete, dug a lot of ditches, moved a lot of lumber, and did some framing and moved kind of all over the county. And then I decided I'd like to wear some nicer clothes for a while. And I went back to San Diego State and got my degree.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you took over being president in 2019. The next year was a bit chaotic, if I remember correctly. There, how was that transition going in?
It was chaotic, but we were very fortunate in that about 90% of our work is in the education market, and our work was deemed essential. So basically, all of our crews worked as if it was a regular work day. We did a lot of safety items in terms of keeping people safe. We had A/B shifts. If there was any exposure, it wouldn't take out the whole team. Did a lot of wash stations and hand wash stations and additional cleanings of our sites. But we were very fortunate in that we were able to keep going without missing a beat, and that was one of our bigger years.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So Erickson-Hall has grown significantly over the years. I'd love to hear kind of how the company got started and what contributed to all the growth over the last 25 years.
So Mike and Dave, the three of us have known each other for quite a while. In fact, Dave Erickson hired me out of San Diego State as a project engineer with another company. And we all kind of went our separate ways in the 90s. And Mike and Dave hooked up in 98 and started Erickson-Hall Construction. I was working for San Diego Unified, and I was seeing how their bond program, back then it was Prop MM, that was beginning to wind down, and I'm married and have kids, and I need to find a job. So I gave them a call, and I've been with them ever since. But they started out as a small design build contractor for the Navy in 98, 99. Was doing some work with San Diego Unified as a design bid builder for them, doing quite a bit of their work. And it kind of morphed into, with our design build experience with the Navy and our school work, there were a couple big design build jobs that we picked up one of them for San Diego Unified. One of their more successful design build was Cherokee Point over off the 805. We kind of went from there, and it just kept kind of blossoming more and more. You had mentioned I solve problems. Our whole company, our goal is to figure out the issues before it ever hits the job site. And that pre-planning and thinking outside the box on how to deliver projects has really grown to give us opportunities for some amazing projects. We've done San Diego Children's Museum in downtown. It's a tilt-up concrete structure with a lot of glass. And if you've been downtown, it's pretty busy. We had the largest crane on the West Coast putting up the wall panels. Crane was so big, we had to put shoring down underneath it so it wouldn't crush the utilities in the street. So it's that kind of pre-planning and thinking, what possibly could go wrong and how do we fix it before it happens, that has really made this company successful. And our people kind of embrace that culture and problem solving.
Yeah, that's awesome. So culture is one of my favorite things to kind of dig into. How have you guys built a culture to really own and embrace this kind of mindset of pre-planning and trying to solve the solutions before they
We check ego at the door. We're hiring great people. They're young, they're full of enthusiasm. They're going to have ideas. We're not just going to put it off to the side because they're young. We're going to be talking through the different ideas. We bring great people in. We empower them. We have open discussions, and we come to conclusions together as a team. And we want them to act as a steward of their client.
Mm-hmm.
They're representing Erickson-Hall, but they're also representing their client. And let's treat the client's money like it's our money and make sure that we're doing the right thing for them. We're looking at what are their pressure points. Is it time? Is it money? Is it schedule? And let's do what we can to make sure that the client is successful. Some of these decisions sometimes don't go the right way, but we've got our employees back and they know that. So they're out there, they're making the best decisions possible for the client and for the company. And we understand that nobody gets in trouble for doing that. I always tease people, some of the new hires, they're worried, oh, my job's coming to an end. We've never laid anybody off for finishing a job early. Never.
That's a good problem. Yeah.
So they know that, that kind of having each other's back and always being there and knowing they're coming from a great place, that really builds that culture and that community of wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it's important when you are in an environment where ideas are not just tolerated, but welcomed and incentivized and encouraged, then it breeds more ideas. And then you said that they know that you have their back. I think having that support is huge, because everybody's going to have a bad idea. Everybody's going to fail at something, and it's not necessarily bad to fail it, because you can learn from that and pick yourself up and improve and iterate from there.
Absolutely. We had a kid we were on a summer sprint up in Los Angeles, and it was 2 middle schools, and we were taking off all of their HVAC units and putting them back on with new units and new roofing. Mm-hmm. And the schools have covered walkways everywhere, to where, we were spending half the budget replacing walkways to get these HVAC units off. And this kid goes, well, why can't we just use helicopters? And we're like looking at each other. Hey, we did all of it. We took every unit off, both middle schools, in one Saturday. And 6 weeks later, after we had re-roofed and done all the framing and everything, we put new ones back on one Saturday. It was awesome. We made the budget, we made the schedule, and it's that kind of thinking.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it just makes it a cooler project, bringing in helicopters.
It was. There were a lot of people taking pictures.
Yeah, I bet. So 25 years, that's an amazing accomplishment. Looking back, are there certain kind of company milestones that you can point to that have helped shaped where you guys are today?
Well, I'd mentioned earlier the Cherokee Point design build. That was a huge project for us at the time. I believe it was about half the size of our annual revenue. Mm-hmm. We had done great work for the client to where there was trust built up, and they had also known us as our design build with the Navy. So there was a lot of trust built up there. Doing that project and finishing it the way we did, it was really a stepping stone into moving to other delivery methods with other clients that may not have known us as well. And that's been one of the big things we do is if we're working with a new client, we'll do some of the smaller projects and kind of build up that trust to where they feel confident. If there's something out there, they know how we build and what we want to do, and we're not going to submit on something that we're not qualified for. Los Alamitos High School STEM building. It's a 3-story structural steel. It's almost 70 feet tall at the peak. It's all of about 16 feet from their existing administration building, and it's on the front curb of their parking lot. So, and it's just straight up. And that client we had worked with on 4 other projects, and she was adamant, I want you to do it. I've seen you build. You're the one. And it has been a stepping stone into moving into higher education work. 3-story structural steel, glass everywhere. It's a beautiful building. And that's what we do. We kind of build up that trust to where we want to be their builder. And if there's a project that's tough and coming down the pike, they want to give us a call and have us do it for them. Hermosa Beach, we rebuilt 2 of their schools. As you hear, Hermosa Beach, nothing but beach sand. You have condos everywhere. You have small roads. And we figured out how to get the equipment in, how to get the materials in without impacting the neighborhood. And they're a great long-term reference for us because they're still amazed we got that much work done that fast for them. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned a phrase with summer sprint. For those who might not be familiar with that, what is a summer sprint, and any kind of innovative strategies that you're using to tackle these projects,
right?
In a short window here?
Sure. So 90% of our work schools. The kids are out for the summer. So the districts say, you got no kids, get after it. This is what we want done. Mm-hmm. So you've got anywhere from 50 to 78 days with no kids or limited kids, because there's some of the high schools, they never shut down. So you've got this limited window. They want you to do a bunch of work. And that's the summer sprint season, anywhere from 50 to 78 days. We did 2 middle schools in 78 days for Little Lake City School District in LA. We've done out at Grossmont Union High School District in East County of San Diego. We cut our teeth doing all of their infrastructure in one summer. We did 4 high schools that summer. It ended up being about 400 miles of conduit and 200 miles of water pipe and sewer pipe laid in, put back in, connect the buildings up, make sure the lights work, make sure the water runs, make sure the toilets flush, and get out of there before the kids come in. Wow. We did that 2 years in a row. You've got that short window. How are you doing it? You're planning it out. Early planning is big time. We utilize a collaborative approach. It's actually based on Toyota manufacturing, lean, and it's called pull planning. And you pick a end date for a summer sprint. It's only 80 days, so you pick that end date, and every activity you have to do to get to that end date, you lay out there, and you bring your subcontractors in. It's a collaborative team approach to where the subs are talking to us, who are talking to the inspectors. What needs to be done in order for this next step to occur? And we talk through it before we ever put crews on the site. And we actually carry those boards. We put them on boards with Post-it notes on who's got what responsibility and who goes next. And we walk through the whole job and we leave those boards up in the trailer, and we check every day with the foreman. Did you hit this date? Did you do what you said you were going to do? And there's a commitment of manpower and equipment during those conversations that foremen are prideful. Actually, a lot of people in construction are prideful. They do not want to fail. So having that peer pressure in front of all the other foremen, they're getting after it. And it has been an extremely successful process for us to execute summer sprints. And that's one of our go-to calls. If there's a summer sprint coming up, we typically get a phone call from a school district.
Yeah, interesting. So peel back the curtain there some. Those conversations in the pre-planning, that's a very intense time frame, I imagine. How far out ahead of time do you have to start those planning sessions?
We typically start those. The planning sessions are typically about 90 days prior to us putting boots on the ground. The bigger the job, the farther out you want to go. We did a $55 million elementary school in Del Mar. We had to do the whole thing. Basically, the whole job was a summer sprint, except it was 14 months to do an entire elementary school with long lead. It was during COVID, so you had supply issues, all of that, to where we were even down to how many workers can we actually put in this space, and measuring, okay, I need to average 150 workers. Can I physically get that many people in here, and how do we do that? So there's a ramp we work through. There's a ramp up from 30 or 40, and then you open up more areas, and now you're up there. And at the high point, we were probably at about 250 workers out there. We're working Saturdays. We've got strategic folks working on Sunday. So when Monday comes, the next crew can come in and there's nobody waiting. Did a lot of painting, did a lot of drywall, texturing, and stucco that just takes up a lot of space and blocks people. A lot of that was going on Sundays. So on Monday, the rest of the crews could come in and keep their work going. So it's a lot of that kind of planning and kind of visualizing what can actually be done and what you can fit in.
Yeah.
So that's some of the peel back, is figuring those. Also, if we know there's lead time items, we'll raise our hand early and try and procure those well before we start the work. Electrical switch gears are averaging about 14, 15 months. So we've done a lot with our clients to where we may be in pre-construction, waiting for permitting, waiting for some constructability reviews and revisions to plans. We'll order those gear and that equipment early and just hold it in storage. So when those plans are permitted and we can install, we're ready there for the equipment.
Yeah. For construction not doing the kind of summer sprint mentality, what is something that you think that they could learn from how you guys are doing summer sprints?
A lot of the planning, you see a lot of not looking far enough ahead. Raise your horizon out. If all you're doing is just a standard construction project, look a little farther out and what you can do to save time, save money to the client. You're starting in the fall. You're going to be working during the winter. Winterize the site. Do it early. Get the site done as fast as you can, sealed up. So when the weather does come, you can still be working inside. You can be working on the slab, and you're not messing up the site. You're not tracking mud out in the streets, not being a good neighbor. You can do a lot of things to where it may not look like a lot, but it saves you in the end when you're trying to finish up.
Makes total sense. To kind of zero in on the collaboration aspect of it, there's a ton of stakeholders that are involved in any construction project. How do you approach building and maintaining those strong relationships with all the different groups, from clients to all the subs, even to the local community that is around the project? How do you create those strong bonds?
Well, with our early meetings, we push hard to identify, what's your goal for this project, and you hear the individual stakeholder goals, and then we try and grab those and collaborate that into, okay, what is the project team goal? We've got all these other group goals. What can we mold those together to create the project team goal? And if you're focused on that, everybody else is going to be taken care of on what they're looking for, what their slice of the pie is. Being very open, being very transparent. Sometimes those are hard conversations to have. Somebody may want an aspect of the project that, candidly, if they're not paying for it, these people have a tough time making that budget. And having those conversations and being able, though, to throw out some, well, we can't do this, but how about this? And kind of getting everybody to a common ground in what they're looking for, and if there's aspects to the design that they want, what can we do to get as close as we can? And that's a big thing, but it's a lot of it's not innovative, except people don't do it anymore. They text. It's face-to-face meetings, talking it through, and just making everybody know that you're coming from a good place. If a project dies, nobody wins. Nobody.
Right.
So what can we do to make sure that this project goes? And that's the biggest push.
Yeah. Sometimes the most innovative thing you can do is go old school and have a face-to-face conversation. So
sometimes, yep.
I like it. I like the aspect too of aligning goals, and get everybody's individual goals and see where all the overlap is for we're a new team together, all the different stakeholders coming together. And so what's our collective goal?
And that usually gets people a little bit off guard. And then when you're asking and pulling it out of them, then they kind of open up, and it's a great starting point to get a project kicked off. Because you've got people talking now, and they're like, oh, okay, no one's ever asked me that. And, then they start thinking, what is their goal on the project?
Yeah,
so
I imagine it forces them into other people's perspective as well, too, to be able to see the project of, like, maybe they're wording it different, or they're looking at it through a different lens, but we're really not that far apart, where if you didn't have that conversation, there could be frustrations of, like, what's this idiot doing over here? Why are they doing that?
Right. Absolutely. Get it out in the open. And, at least then they understand that you're willing to ask the question. What is it you're looking for? Because I'm here to make it happen.
Yeah. Lead kind of with the empathy aspect of it, and relatability. I like it. So there's obviously the ongoing labor shortage here in construction. How's Erickson-Hall approaching recruitment and retention to ensure the top talent for all these big projects?
We're really active in publicizing. Like I said, we do a lot of education projects. If districts or individual schools are doing career fairs, we want to be a part of that. If they have a career tech program related to construction or engineering, we want to be a part of that. Donations, materials, putting labor folks out there to do speaking engagements or some training, mentoring. We participate in a lot of that. We also have a very aggressive internship program with college kids and seniors out of high school as they're going into college. We're upwards now. I think this year we were at 24 interns. They're paid positions. We put them on job sites and give them a list of things to do. They put together reports. And we full-blown exit interviews. We're training them to be successful later in life, but we track those guys during the school year. Typically, I think last year we had 3 of them. They were entering their final semester. It was part-time, so we brought them back part-time through the last semester of their college career, and made them full-time at the end of that. We've been very successful. I think overall we've got about 11 interns over the years that we've hired full-time. So we do that on the school side, and then, like I said, if there's career programs that need help, we're there to, again, provide materials, equipment, and any leadership or mentoring that they need. We will put people on there, foremen, superintendents. We've got a project manager that has kind of walked through some career days at a couple campuses where you don't even have to be a project manager, orthopedic nurse helping construction folks, because they all have their own aches and pains. You can do a lot of different things and apply it to construction.
Yeah, for sure. Love that. So I'm going to ask you to put your fortune telling hat on here. Where do you see some of maybe the most significant trends that are going to be shaping the future of construction?
So from technology, we've done a lot with the GPS, the Trimbles, and locking in dimensions and where things go space-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I can see us marrying that up with some virtual reality and actually improving safety, quality control, and constructability issues by having it virtually built. Does it actually fit in the space? Can you actually put a concrete truck here between this element and pour this?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that happening more and more. We already do it a little bit in terms of safety. Will this actually stand up? Do you have the clearances for electrical to get bodies through there without sparking, things like that? But I can see it happening more to where it'll be more of a quality control and constructability aspect of it than what it is right now. And I see that really beginning to take off, particularly in underground. The utility work around structures, it's always too tight. There's always challenges, and I can see that really being the spot to really take off first.
Yeah. So on the AI side, is it friend, foe, or just a bunch of hype?
I think potentially it could be huge. I'm using my memory of all the different things that bit me over the years. If we can get that into a database and take AI to look at a set of plans and say, okay, all these things are problems, that would be huge. And being able to capture that library and then have AI apply it to a set of plans, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. That's a friend right there. But getting that library to talk to AI, that's where the challenge is going to be. Because people never want to give up their secrets.
For sure. For sure. So this is the secret sauce. You
That's
gotta
right.
hold it close. So as we start to kind of land the plane here, a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Good.
What is the phrase modeling the future? What does that kind of spark in your mind? What does that look like to you?
Modeling the future. So we utilize business information modeling. Our industry doesn't use it enough. This is where you're going to see the virtual reality and the plans really become more and more integrated and used prior to ever putting boots on the ground. That's what sparks me, is we're going to use virtual reality much more effectively than we have in the past.
Yeah, love it. What does innovation mean to you?
Thinking outside the box, but sometimes that's going old school and knowing when and where to do it. Focus on the success of the client and the project, and that'll get you innovative. If you're focusing on that and how to get there and not get stuck in the weeds, you're gonna be fine, and you will be innovative getting it done.
Yeah, I love it and agree with that. How do people find out more information and connect with you?
We've got a website, Erickson-Hall.com. Our corporate office is in Escondido. We have offices in Garden Grove, Riverside, and in Imperial Valley. we're connect mgates at Erickson-Hall.com, and I'm on LinkedIn. I don't even know what it is, but I'm on it.
We'll link to your profile in the show notes so they can go there as well too.
I'm wearing this shirt in my picture.
There you go. It's a good shirt.
There you go. It's a lucky shirt. So
that's right.
No, we've had tremendous growth. COVID was a funky year, but it was an amazing year in that we were fortunate to be deemed essential. We've been doing nothing but growing ever since then. We're anticipating tremendous growth again this year, and we are 100% employee owned. So everybody from field admins, laborers, office admins to me, we all own stock in the company, and we're all owners. So it's a great opportunity if you want to get in construction and think outside the box.
Love that. Well, final question for you. If I could give you all construction power, you could snap your fingers and innovate one thing in the industry, what would you pick to innovate?
How we train our craft workers. I may be getting in trouble on this one. We are apprenticeship programs are we don't have enough of them statewide, without saying. It's not the union's fault. It's not open shop's fault. We just don't have enough. I mean, we're a huge state. We don't have enough programs in place. If we could get more programs in place and an understanding of what it takes to fund them and get these kids involved early on, it would be huge for our industry and our state. That's what I would like to see.
I think it's a great call out. No trouble here.
All right. If I get into trouble, you can just say, "Hey, he didn't know what he was saying."
There you go.
But really, I mean, we're shorthanded everywhere.
Yeah.
And from our instructors to our students, we're shorthanded everywhere, and we need to give these kids opportunities. Where else can you go earn a decent living at 19 years old, and at 23, 24, you're making $80,000, $90,000 a year with no student loans?
Yeah.
Where
nowhere.
else?
Yeah.
And it's a great life. It's a great career.
Yeah. Agreed. And there's so many opportunities here. It's a topic I'm particularly passionate about. How do we spread the word more and get it out there to people that, most people don't think about construction as a career path coming out of high school or out of college. And it's a totally viable career path with plenty of opportunities, plenty of success stories, and a ton of potential. So I think we have to do a better job of getting that word out.
Totally agree.
Well, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time and joining the show today.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I enjoyed myself. Thank you.